Recording and
Is that not using the?
No.
Okay, are we good?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, in person and on Zoom, to the Elwyn Road Drainage Improvements Project. My name is Christine Sparviero. I'm project manager for the DPW. And with me, we have our consultants, the contractor, and other representatives from the department. I think if we could just go around and introduce ourselves, that would be the way to start.
Dave DeFosis, project manager, City of Portsmouth.
Stephanie Secord, Public Information Officer. Please sign up if you haven't already so we can keep you informed about the project.
Nick Messina, project manager with CMA Engineers.
John McCarthy, project representative for Josh Hart Consulting.
Riley Donovan, project manager with Angrenese and Sons, general contractor.
Just to sum up the project, this involves drainage improvement projects from Lafayette to Grant on Elwyn Road. Some minor, so tapped. Yeah, tapped. Thank you. Minor water service work, and then final paving of the whole stretch area. I think I'll hand it over to our consultant, Nick Messina, to get into the PowerPoint.
Great, thank you, Christine.
Sharon. Okay.
Great. Yeah, I think we can go to the next slide. We already introduced ourselves. So brief agenda for what we're talking about, primarily introducing the project, what exactly it entails, what that means construction impact wise, general timeline, things of that nature, and taking public comment again. The purpose, which is a little redundant of the agenda, but again, introducing the project and discussing the exact impacts, especially preparing the residents for what that construction will look like. And again, taking public comment and questions at the very end. The primary purpose of the project, as Christine alluded to, is replacing deteriorated drainage along Elwyn Road. And while we're doing that, there will be some minor water main work and switching over existing water services onto the larger water main and reconstructing the roadway post-construction. That's fine. A visual of what the project limits look like. So in blue is the drainage work. So the drainage will extend from the intersection of Edgewood Road and Elwyn Road down to nearly Taft Road, but not quite that far down. The cyan lines are the water work. As you can see, it's relatively minor compared to the drainage work. A new water main is getting placed along Grant Ave. A very short section is being placed along Elwyn Road, kind of right at that corner by the intersection with Grant. And then where you see all the very short cyan lines, those are all new water services. So there's an existing 2-inch copper that's going along Elwyn Road, and all of those houses between Edgewood and Grant are getting switched over to the larger 8-inch main on the other side of the road. And the hatched area just shows the paving limits, again, from the intersection with Lafayette Road down to Taft Road, and along Grant, where we're replacing the water main, we're also reconstructing the roadway there. Awesome. Project timelines. The project was awarded to Bernice in September of 2025, which was just too close to the end of construction season. So construction is beginning this year, next week, actually. and construction is anticipated to end around late summer, early fall of this year, so one construction season. The authorized work hours for the contractor are between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. The initial project startup will primarily be drain trench excavations and setting up the temporary water main to allow for that water work. So those will be the initial construction steps. What does that mean as far as impacts? So the contractor is required to maintain flow through the water mains. So they will set up that temporary water along Elwyn Road. The temporary pipes are, required to be disinfected and tested for bacteria to ensure that drinking water remains safe and usable. There will be short duration interruptions to water services, particularly when we're setting up and decommissioning the temporary water and we're switching over people onto their new water services. But those short duration shutdowns will be less than 4 hours, and all affected residents will get 48 hours notice for when that is happening. The project will definitely require ledge removal. We characterize the bedrock out there. We know it's fairly shallow, and so when they're replacing the drainage pipe, it will require some rock excavation. But there is a vibration monitoring plan in place to monitor noise levels and ensure they remain at an acceptable level, and any corrective actions can be taken if they are excessive. And then the final piece is reconstructing the roadway along that entire project length. As far as traffic control and the traffic control plan, the primary plan is to do one-way alternating traffic. The intent is to keep one-way going on Elwyn Road as much as possible. There may be limited instances where detouring is necessary for utilities that just may necessitate that, but the general intent is to keep one-way going whenever possible and for the project duration. So there will be flaggers out there on either end along Elwyn Road and on side streets as necessary if they're working near Grant or Edgewood or Taft. At the end of the workday, it will be restored to two-way travel. Obviously, flaggers not staying there overnight or past hours. Dust control measures are in place to ensure it doesn't get excessive and bother abutters. Emergency vehicle access, of course, maintained at all times. They won't be required to route, especially even if there is a detour in place. There's a plan for emergency vehicle access. And again, all affected residents and abutters will be notified of any impacts near driveway that may necessitate temporary closures and just coordinating with abutters as the project progresses. John McCarthy here is the primary contact, is the field project representative. So he'll be helping coordinate resident concerns, if any arise during construction, and also coordinating those water shutdowns, driveway impacts during the roadway reconstruction, making all those required notifications if anybody is going to be impacted. Christine is the primary contact with the city. She's the project manager with DPW. And the city website also has project updates. You can go right to the next slide, which shows a clip and gives the email address where you can find updates and you can sign up for additional notifications. And with that, we are happy to take any questions, comments, or concerns.
So I just want to kind of go over the overall scope of why we're doing this. So essentially, drainage piping was put in the early 80s. They used galvanized pipe, and road salt has rotted the steel pipes underground. So this is mainly a replacement of existing drainage project. The reason why we're removing more ledge in spots is because we've under study, we've noticed there are pipe runs that were put in too flat. So we're creating more pitch in the drainage system so that it works better. But we're basically replacing the drain pipe system more or less the way that it is. And then we're replacing the road surface more or less the way it is. So it's basically a drainage project. The reason for the water work is because the water main was installed in such close proximity to the drainage pipe that we can't replace the drainage pipes with the water main there. So we have to shut the water main off, do the temporary system so that we can do that, put the drainage pipe in, and then reinstall the water main. That's basically soup to nuts. Project's basically replacing existing infrastructure. Questions?
Where's the side path? The side path, that is a separate project. It is not going to construction. It is in its earlier stages in design. I don't know if you have a better update on that project. I'm not the PM on that on our end.
So we're working through an agreement with Urban Forestry. I think we've reached a point that we have an agreement with them, although it's not signed. So right now the state and the city attorneys are going through the agreement. And what we've come up to with an agreement is that the site path will be able to go in. The state will maintain ownership of the land under the path, and the city will maintain the path. So that took a lot of doing. I know it sounds simple, but because there are multiple conservation organizations in play with the Urban Forestry Center, it took a lot of negotiation to get to that. But at this point, we've reached what the state calls the right-of-way phase. So as soon as that agreement is penned, then we should be able to start moving forward with final design plans, and we're hoping to hopefully still construct that project and start construction sometime in the next 18 months. Yes, sir.
Question, I've been here since 72, and the last time they brought the drainage down, they ran it directly into the pipe coming from Taft. And we were told then it would be a tremendous problem, possibly, with the water coming down from Taft and this coming in will restrict the flow. And all these homes up there have the pipes running underground that go in, drain from the cellar.
Yes.
It's water.
Mhm.
And is this going to be larger, or is there going to be possibly a turn there or something to help that out?
The water's going in the same spot as it did before. Because we're replacing existing infrastructure, the water should get there relatively the same. It should not be you should not see a spike. Should be the existing between the existing condition and the proposed condition. I would say that you probably aren't going to notice it. Now, on to your point about Taft. Nick is also working on another project. We have 4 or 5 different Elwyn Park projects going on. So one of the Elwyn Park projects is replacing the drainage infrastructure under Taft and under Harding, and then working our way up with drainage throughout Elwyn Park. That's why those areas, they're kind of still in study. So at this point, we've gone through the drainage study. We kind of know what we need for pipe sizes, and we haven't started design on the pipe sizes, but we know what we need now. So based on comments that were made 5 years ago, we started doing engineering study, and we've gotten some funding for that. And now we're getting ready. We're planning our way through Elwyn Park to fix that issue.
Major drain pipe going under Taft out into the woodland or wetlands.
Urban forestry,
Urban forest. Is that going to be enlarged?
probably.
Good. Thank you.
What do you do for water treatment?
That hasn't been designed yet. Because of the limitations at the outfall and the urban forestry and the conservation areas, we're probably going to do targeted spot cleansing. What's the term I'm trying to find in my head?
Like BMPs or
Right, like
LID,
but
low impact
on site,
development.
low height, right. At the point source where the water is coming into the catch basins and not at the outfall in the urban forestry zone. You know what I mean?
No.
So there's
So-
currently no treatment system in place. It
At all.
just discharges.
Right.
And so as part of the future project at the outfall of Harding, we have evaluated looking at one. It is complicated there because those are prime wetlands, prime wetland buffers, it's a very sensitive area. But that would be part of a future project and not a part of this one.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is in Elwyn Park, where the catch basins are, that's where we'll treat the water before it goes into the drainage system. Before it gets in the pipe, we'll treat it at each basin. We'll have little targeted areas where we can treat the water and put stormwater, wetland, not wetlands, but just infiltration areas and stormwater cleansing areas at targeted areas here, there, and everywhere, but through Elwyn Park, so that we don't have to worry about the unbelievable amount of permitting it would be required to put in one treatment unit at the end, which would probably not work as good as having it at each basin where it's kind of like low flow situations. It actually works better, I think, if you treat the water before it gets into the drainage system and all gets accumulated in the one spot. Which I did not say very eloquently, but I got my point across.
No, you got it.
That was pretty good.
How about online?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, any questions from Zoom attendees? Not seeing any.
Okay, I don't see anyone.
Oh,
We got one. Louis.
Louis, go ahead. I don't think you're muted, so you should be able to just go ahead.
Well, try that.
Need to turn it up.
It's as up as it goes, sadly. You want to try putting your question in chat? Sorry. We're not getting any sound from you.
See if there's anything in chat. Put it show up.
It's yeah, it would show up here, but it's
Dave, is that remote for the monitor in front of you?
Yeah.
Is it on one of your side of it?
So I don't think it's.
It's up all the way.
Not separate.
Louis, we can't hear you, but if you write us an email, there's we will respond to you in writing. On the website, there'll be a link so that you can see who to contact. Should be Christine.
My number is in the PowerPoint too. We'll post that.
You want to get your
Just
number
repeat.
again? Just read it off.
Should just call in right now.
Okay, it's 603-380-4805.
Okay. All right, very well. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.